What up, everybody? Blake, Scholar of Magic here, and today I'm bringing you, most likely, the card of the year in Aether Drift. Daretti, the Rocketeer Engineer, 4 generic, 1 red, legendary creature, Goblin Artificer. Daretti's power is equal to the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. Nice. Whenever Daretti enters or attacks, choose target artifact card in your graveyard. You may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, return the chosen card to the battlefield. Enters or attacks. We exchange any artifact on our battlefield for any artifact in the graveyard. This is insane. I want to just kind of let you know, I already like this card. The entering the battlefield was fine. Sure, we'll exchange a Haywire Might, for instance, for instance, in standard, like a Portal to Phyrexia. That's awesome. That's great. That's something that we'd love to do. That's great Reanimator. You can do Nihilists with a Monument. You can have your Garden of New Benalia. You could have Daretti in there. You can just have a sweet Nihilist where your goal is just to, accrue treasures, sacrifice the treasures with Daretti and get out portals. It's that easy. It's just kind of that's just kind of easy gameplay and good styling. And this is really kind of lend itself when I had hasted it in one occasion. Not too recently, I was playing Brawl with Maria, and we had Lava Spur Boots, and we had a sequence where we had Daretti come on the battlefield, luckily get a Portal to Phyrexia, exchanged an Emerald Medallion for the portal, and then I equipped, in the same sequence, I actually tapped the portal for mana because it was on the battlefield untapped, and I used that to equip the Lava Spur Boots that was already on Maria onto Daretti, and then I got to swing with Daretti, and I sacrificed an Howling Mine of all things for a Sky Sovereign. It was just incredible. So that was in one sequence, a portal and a Sky Sovereign. So not only did the opponent lose I think they lost their entire board. First of all, they were playing Scram. So they had a very interesting things going on already with auras and equipments, and they have a lot of protection. They're very difficult to deal with because they have a lot of instant speed interaction, but having a portal out, they just had to sacrifice. So they basically lost most of their things on the sacrifice, and then the Sky Sovereign cleaned up a Skrelv, and that was pretty much the rest of the game. That was it. They had a scoop after that, not too long after it. So this, to me, surely has to be more than a 15-cent card. I feel like probably just getting most of just really getting into this. On my list was the Rolling Hamp Sphere, because I know Greasefang is pretty popular, so I wanted to maybe get a couple copies of those, and definitely a bunch of copies of Daretti. That might just even be something to look forward to, because let's kind of look at something similar, that kind of has a similar function. All the Darettis are in this deck. Let's see, this one is pretty cheap too. This one is not a bad bargain either, right? This one just sells us, exchanges artifacts too, and also will loot. So it's also a nice card. That's pretty cheap as well. That's not too bad. Then you have your Engineers of the World, Goblin Engineer. That's 737. That's a beautiful card because it just entombs, most of your things, your artifacts. Any artifact from your library really is a really big, wombo bombo combo. If you want to feel like a Trash for Treasure, for instance, in your hand, and you're ready to exchange, and you just need something in your grave, you just have summon up a Goblin Engineer, and that's really what I like about it, is that kind of free entomb. It's amazing. It's a way better unmarked grave, if you're familiar with that card. Goblin Welder obviously is just no cost investment at all. It just simply exchanges artifacts, a single artifact on your battlefield, and for one in your graveyard, and also can do that to your opponents too, so it can kind of sneeze out your opponents. If they have some nice artifacts and they have some artifacts that aren't so good in their graveyard, you can exchange those. So yeah, overall, this though, it's obviously superior to this card. It is a one casting cost over the Daretti, but this, just the fact that you can enter and swing, that's like an additional like kind of step, right? That's like you have 1 step, 2 step, and that second step is a massive thing, massive build around. So what do we have to kind of support that? Well, when we play Maria in EDH, you have a basically a wide variety of haste enablers. So if you're not familiar with this card, let's just kind of get it zoomed in here. And we have Maria here, and she's a nice one. You definitely want to have like artifacts come in before you cast Maria, because then you like kind of enable more casts, because she'll turn your artifacts that are non-tokens, like just your regular artifacts that you cast, she'll turn those into mana rocks, and they'll actually be able to be tapped for mana. And so on a very regular kind of sequence, if you go like, for instance, turn 1 Llanowar Elf into a turn 2 Maria, on your next turn you can probably spew off about 2 or 3 artifacts at once, because she's kind of cascading the mana. You could see her as kind of like a glorified artifact reducer. And why I say that is because you can also you don't always have to use those artifacts for mana. You can also tap 2 at once, and then you get to exile the top card of your library and play it that turn. So there is definitely some things we can probably goldfish in this to kind of like maybe show you some sequences and maybe some ideas for maybe how do you want to like kind of utilize Maria. But this is a very low to the ground vehicle deck, I would say, meaning that when you impulse, you're probably going to want to have at least some good hits that are lower in mana costs, so that we can actually cast those. Because if we're impulsing really big things, we might miss out on them. So that would be kind of sad. So it kind of works out in this particular instance, and we're also going to go over the haste enablers. So let's just kind of look at those as well. So you have, for instance, Lava Spur Boots, really nice for giving haste and protection. Lightning Greaves, of course, fantastic. 0 cost equipped for that. Then we have our Swifties as well. Swiftfoot Boots as well. So those are kind of like the nice suite, as you would say. And any of those will be just fantastic to grant our haste to our Darettis of the world. Wow. I mean, what an amazing card this is. I mean, to have this thing with haste is it's just a massive thing. I think I probably actually want to add like an Arena of Glory, just because, just to kind of give us a little bit of edge there, give us another way to haste our things. This land is really nice because you can exert this, add double red, so there's no like, you take a turn off basically with this land, but you still get to be mana equal for that turn, and you get to grant haste to one of your casted creatures. So it's awesome. Would be great for Daretti. I think I like most of these choices here. Shifting Woodland kind of gets a little bit worse. We do have some nice fetches, but it just kind of gets a little bit worse because it's just, we just have less forests, and like we just have a lot more duels that are not that, So we're not too sad about that. We're definitely happy about the Arena of Glory, though. That's definitely a fine choice, and we're still running a decent amount of basics. We have some good fetches here, and all in all. So yeah, haste is definitely like a big part. Now, to talk about like how we're loaded ground, is that this is like basically an homage to the Mech Titan core deck. This was just a very fun thing to do in standard, like when this card was out, is just to basically assemble the Mech Titan core. It was fun because it was just so over the top, and it required all these components, and you're playing a card that the only thing that's really good on it on face value is it's a decent defender. Without its other components, it's like kind of a dead card, to say the least. So yeah, even the crew 2 is kind of brutal actually for it. It probably should just be a crew 1, to be honest. But this one is just like an amazing card when you assemble all the components. I should probably just zoom in on it a little bit more if I can. Let's get this bad boy up there. So Exile, Mech Titan, also 5. So you know what's nice about this, you don't have to tap it to activate its ability. So you could actually tap this for mana to contribute to this payment. Pay 5, colorless or generic. Exile Mech Titan Core and 4 other artifact creatures and or vehicles you control. The big portion of that is that they have to be artifact creatures or vehicles. They can't be just non-creature artifacts like a Mesmeric Orb, for instance. So you also have to kind of, fill out your deck with other vehicles and other artifact creatures. So that's like why we play Haywire Might, Ornithopter, Hopagirapor. We definitely keep that artifact creature count going there. So we exile all of these things, then we get to create Mech Titan, a legendary 10/10 construct artifact creature token with flying, vigilance, trample, lifelink, and haste. It's all colors. When that token leaves the battlefield, return all cards exiled with Mech Titan Core except Mech Titan Core to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control. And will this let us flip this one? No. But it is just an amazing token. Actually, the token is like $10. It's crazy. So, the 10/10 haste, trample, vigilance, lifelink, brutal card, and it's really not too hard to get cooking with Maria. She's perfect for that card. She really is just something. So when we're playing like low to the ground cards, like to get all these low costed, things going at once, we're definitely be playing like the best like kind of vehicles. So we definitely want to have like a density of lower cost vehicles that are just very good. So a Cultivator's Caravan is nice. It's just like a nice body. It can also be a mana rock. It's just solid for us. It has mana fixing too. It can fix our mana, which is really good. Eska's Chariot is just a beautiful vehicle. Only 91 cents now. I don't know why. It is so very good. Such a very good card as well. And what a wonderful 4-drop artifact vehicle for us. You have like the Heart of Kieran, just another very low to the ground card. It can get offensive. It can get defensive. It's just a nice choice for a low cost vehicle, right? And we have a Head Shredder. This one is just like a Wombo Bombo combo with like your Mesmeric Orb. Because each time you untap something with a Mesmeric Orb, you're going to mill from your library, and each time you reveal a land, you're going to be putting it right on the battlefield. So it's absolutely Mondo Bombo busted. It's absolutely absurd how many lands you can get. You can totally out Gandalf like any Azorius, commander with this card. It just is not even in comparison. You'll be having so many lands you won't know what to do with them. Additionally, you have... if I just get through these vehicles, this is a sweet one too. This one is really menacing actually because it's just going to accrue power based on the amount of lands that you have on the battlefield. And so it's going to enter and it's going to fetch that basic. And then as it attacks, it's going to accrue more basics. So it's just another nice option for us. And then its power is equal to the number of lands we control. So overall, it's pretty solid. Do I like 3 forests? 3 mountains for it? I think it's good. I would probably want to add like maybe 1 more forest for it. Our mana is pretty good. So let's see, we can probably get rid of that slower land. I do like the Verge lands. I think they're pretty solid, I guess. And it produces green. Oh, it produces red by itself. That's kind of interesting, actually. Yeah, our mana is very good. We have a lot of ways to fetch basics. I don't know. With a card like that, though, I would probably want to make sure I'm coming to maximizing it. The amount of basics we had. So, green is pretty important for us. I wouldn't mind doing something like this. Adding 1 forest. We'll take a look at the goldfish, see how the mana looks. Mycosynth's Garden is very good. Spire is also pretty decent. It's just like another duel, but let's just go up like another mountain, another basic. Let's just kind of give our lumbering wold wagon just a little bit of a better shot, because we're going to be like putting a lot of cards in our graveyard, and we don't want to brick Definitely want to keep that juice going, right? When it attacks, we just keep getting more basics, right? So these are just low-costed artifacts. There's the Mech Titan Core, of course. Reckoner Bank Buster's fantastic. What a beauty. Rocketeer Buggy. Boost Buggy is another low-costed vehicle from Drift. So that one's fine too. Can create treasures when it connects. Yeah, the Smuggler's Copter. This is perfect low to the ground stuff. I consider like the Surge Hacker Mech kind of lower to the ground, and it loves to see more artifacts like those lower costed artifacts on the battlefield, vehicles on the battlefield. So it does more damage to a target when it does enter the battlefield. It's just a nice menacing 5/5. And we also have Hearse. Beautiful. This Hearse just turns down Greasefang decks. It makes that mirror so much worse for them. Like, because you'd expect Greasefang just to have like a major advantage for like all most decks that it plays against, because it's just so strong. But when you have an unlicensed Hearse, they're just totally equalized. They're going to have a hard time doing anything really, as long as you keep that thing available, right? So yeah, so you have like kind of those lower to the ground vehicles. Even Weatherlight I consider kind of like that lower to the ground kind of stuff. Definitely, right? Yeah. And that's just another nice one too. I think I didn't mention the Thunderous Velocipede, but it is in here. Where is it? There it is. There's the Thunderous Velocipede. So that's also new. That's a really sweet artifact from Aether Drift. Also very affordable, like $2. It's not bad. It just kind of pumps up your stuff. You can basically have like a 7/8 Weatherlight. If you curve into that kind of curve, because the Weatherlight is a 4-mana artifact or vehicle, so it enters with additional 3/1/1 counters on it. So a 7/8 Weatherlight is really awesome. Just this thing that smacks in the air for 7 and draws some sick gas by looking at the top 5 cards of your library. Come on, yo. Hit me up with a subscribe if you're a fan of that Weatherlight. To 400 subscribers. Yeah. So we have the sweet Weatherlight there, and then you're going to play your more greedy stuff, right? Because we have these sweet like things that are going to cheat stuff out, like our Portal Phyrexias and such. So you're going to also have some major vehicle bombs in there, like a Reaver Titan. Yeah, Reaver Titan. Yeah, baby. You can also have a rolling Hamsphere. Yes, the 40-cent Hamsphere. Let's go. And you could also have, let's keep this rolling, baby. How about a Thunderhawk gunship? So we're going to be commanding the fleet. It's going to be just it's going to be beautiful. That's going to be the title of the paper deck tech, Commanding the Fleet, with Maria, Scholar of Antiquity. Yeah, she's our real. She's going to be saying to Greasefang, "Hold my beer, baby." New girls in town. She is a girl. You know, Maria is a girl. Greasefang's a girl. So yeah, it's kind of fitting. Anyways, what can I tell you, man? This is just Gruul artifacts. You know, that's kind of just what this is. Gruul vehicles, and I think it's definitely an archetype. It definitely is now. I mean, we have all the components here. You have these amazing cards that just loot continuously, like the Volatile Wanderglyph. You know, you have these great unearthed cards here, and it just kind of fashions into this really nice kind of Gruul assemblage of acceleration and value and power. You know, that's kind of all it really is. Some of the more interesting choices I think you will really love in this is like your Shriekhorns that just mill a lot or tap for mana. They're never dead with Maria. Prize Statue is super interesting accelerator because it's going to fit that need for artifacts to be sacrificed by creating a treasure by itself, and also you can tap it for mana. And then when it leaves the graveyard, once again, it's created another treasure. So, or it leaves from the battlefield, or enters the battlefield, or is put into the graveyard from the battlefield to create a treasure. Really great card, 12 cents. That. I swear, this card seems El Bustarino too. It's only 12 cents. What set is that from? Maybe Baldur's Gate? Is that a reprint? I don't know. That card also seems like it should be more to me. You know, maybe I'll just buy some of those. It looks like the foiling is a little bit more maybe I'll kind of look into those prize statues too. Seems like a really busted card, doesn't it? It seems like pretty busted to me. So, well, it is with Maria for sure. And I mean, the rest is history. You have like your major, graveyard contributors, like your Mesmeric Orbs here. And, Faithless Looting is also a big player in that as well. You have Brass's Tunnel Grinder. So this is just fantastic. This one's probably one of our best ones. It really is, because you're just dumping so many cards into your from your hand into your grave, and then drawing that many. You can get into a sequence where you have a pretty decent board state of vehicles and perhaps a Goblin Welder that's ready to go, and you're just like tunnel grinding and putting like a Sky Sovereign in your grave or whatever, and you're starting to get value that way. Yeah, that's nice. That's powerful stuff. I don't know. I'm curious to know like what you all think. Is this card okay? Doesn't seem like it's really okay. Seems like it's really strong. But I think this says it's level 3 or whatever. It kind of recommended level 3, but this card in particular is kind of a on alert card. Kind of puts you on alert, doesn't it? So yeah, I'm also curious to see what you all are interested in playing right now. We had someone in a live stream come in the other day saying that they really liked playing, or they're building, I think it's AC, the Simic Serpent. That thing's a nasty card. That's an interesting first commander to build. Strong, very strong. I know Vaughn has an Umo deck. That's a Simic. The Simic everything counters. And I definitely want to like get into that archetype and kind of build around that. That seems, you get your Tron lands and such, and you get to like play something tribal, right? Because you're making like everything, like an everything, right? Basically one type. Everything has like your lands also get types, like everything types too, like every land type. It's crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know. That card just seems crazy to me. But this is the kind of the stuff we're working with. We got some nice tutors. We have some nice kind of, ways to get into the graveyard and kind of get value out of it, to let Maria have a chance to like get, maximize her value with all the mana she produces. And Experimental Frenzy is a massive card too. I highly recommend it for this type of like where you're just amassing like a big board state, because you can just continue to play and play and play. So we got some nice removal there. I think we're playing Vandal Blast as like a nice widespread kind of, interaction piece for other artifacts. Really playing some interesting cards like Push the Limit here. That's going to resurrect all the vehicles in our graveyards, and then they will have haste till the end of turn. So that's really interesting. And then Scrap Mastery, of course, is really cool as well. So that will just exchange all of our artifacts on the battlefield for the ones in our graveyard. Just kind of swap them out. So we love that. And then the opponents will do the same. It's a very interesting card. Yeah, I love it. So let me kind of just maybe show you a couple hands and kind of see like what we're thinking about, when we play this deck. I kind of like this hand. I just like the fact that we're kind of looting through. We have like a nice surveil land, so have like 2 land options here. So I think it's fine. This is going to be an untapped source. So in Commander we get to draw first, and the Mana Confluence is nice. So like we could probably get our Shriekhorn kind of getting going here. I wouldn't mind that. We could always like follow it up with like a Commercial District Faceless Looting next turn, and kind of look what's going on. So we'd be able to do this immediately and put 2 cards into our graveyard while a Reaver Titan. So now we just need a way to resurrect the Reaver Titan. So we just need to find kind of a way to get into that. So for our next turn, of course, let's see. I suppose we drew the Mana Confluence turn 1, and now we're on turn 2 for the Vandal Blast. I believe we drew that. So we're still, and we did do the graveyard. So I think this is fine. And then we will go ahead and look if we want to keep this on top, if we want to draw it or surveil it. That's fine. We can put it in our graveyard. We don't necessarily need that. We are looking for that aforementioned way to resurrect something. So we'll definitely be looting now with that 1 mana we have left over. And a Paradise Mantle is pretty nice. Don't know. We could probably work our way up actually to Thunderhawk Gunship. That's when you have to worry balance with Maria, is that this card probably has too much value to put in the graveyard now because it's like going to be close to be casted, especially with a Paradise Mantle available. So we'll probably, like, depending, I mean, it's either probably the Bolt or the the Smashing, because we could always fetch with this. So it's probably like something like, because we have to delete 2 of these cards, right? So I wouldn't be too sad about something like this. And then we move to turn, we could even drop the Mantle now. And because this is our turn 2, we get another couple looks of Shriekhorn. So we're just really amassing the graveyard. Oh, and that would be really sad. Well, that was like kind of the one we were looking for, is the welder there. So yeah, that is somewhat a sadness there that we milled the welder. That would have been like a very, very nice way to get into our juicy graveyard. But we still have some options here. We're not out of it yet. So on this particular turn 3, we would draw. I mean, we just already put 7 cards in the grave. So we're definitely juicing it up, There's no doubt about it. Scrap Mastery would be kind of fun at this point. I'll be very honest. Because we can see we have some pretty sweet. We have the Hearse, Reaver Titan. That'd be pretty nice to kind of exchange those for these. So with a Mary on the battlefield, this is just easily equipable here. So now we have a Paradise Mantle onto this because we can tap the Paradise Mantle with Maria. We can exhaust this Shriekhorn and get a couple more looks in the grave. And we just we're just sending all our homies in. Bad RNG, very bad. But I mean, yeah, that's just another way to resurrect our Reaver Titan. Don't worry, we'll be fine. Everything is fine. Yeah, so I guess we played the command tower, and 1, 2, 3. We still have this Windswept Teeth, and now we're on to we exhausted this. Yes, we did. So now we move to our turn 4 and draw Mox Amber, and we can freely cast the Thunderhawk Gunship. 1, 2, 3, quite easily here. We already used our commercial district, so that would be the play. We just hard cast the Thunderhawk Gunship, get the Astari tokens, and then the next turn, we're never quite dead out of it because we have like ways to impulse draw. So we can always impulse with this now, even though it's exhausted its counters. Like we could take these 2. We drew for turn, of course. We're probably going to want to keep the Vandablast, but we can definitely impulse. We can play this for land for turn from the impulse draw. We don't necessarily have to attack with the Thunderhawk Gunship. We can basically, probably still look for some more gas here. Tap these down, and it's another forest, so that goes to exile. Obviously, we could probably overload this Vandablast for the turn if there's some artifacts on the battlefield. That'd probably be pretty decent too. 2, 3, 4. We have 5 total here, so we haven't utilized any of those yet. We just impulsed with our stuff, so that's not so bad. If we draw for turn, we have a Volatile Wonderglyph. We can kind of get busy here. We can start exiling now and drawing, because when this is tapped, it will loot and we'll get the exile. So that's a Mech Titan core. That's pretty cool. So we can send this to the graveyard. This is what we draw, and then we'd impulse a card, or we'd impulse this and draw this. So yeah, so we kind of get to storm off here. We're very close to assembling the Mech Titan core as well. We're basically one vehicle card away, and it's probably foreseeable to like get a hit off of this. So if we already impulsed here, we can impulse here now. And that's a mountain, so you could play that for turn. And we probably have one more impulse there with the Mox Amber and Mech. It's a Utopia Sprawl. Bummer. I was hoping we'd be able to send the Mech Titan core on that particular instance. So, almost got there. We did have looting available too. So... Yeah, you could still loot that away. There's a Hamsphere. Well, man, let's view this all. I wouldn't mind like a Noxious Revival because we're just getting so in there. I think we are playing Balagad Recovery already. Should be our sorcery. Yeah, we are playing Balagad. I like the land count, and that felt pretty comfortable there. I don't know, a Noxious Revival. I guess we just say goodbye to Bolt and hope we don't die to like a territorial Skycath. Or the Skycath Cub. No Skycath Cubs allowed. You shall not pass. No, we'll just die to the Skycath Cub. No, we might have a chance with the portals. The portals are kind of our... This card is probably like my number one. So that will be the thumbnail. Portal Phyrexia, Daretti. But this is the card of the year. It's not even close. I guess we'll try to get into one more. There it is, the card of the year. Steal another. Oh, it's such an interesting card. Such an interesting hand. Gamble. Gamble, and I think it's kind of like your Mesmeric Orb to kind of like really juice yourself up. I'd probably say like could even be your Goblin Engineer sometimes. But this hand is pretty fine. We're just going to gamble for our, your Mesmeric Orb here. Hopefully it will stick. You'll lose a card here. On your turn 2, you can play your Mesmeric Orb, hopefully. If not, your Boots, I suppose. And then you're starting to juice up your grave, right? That'd be 2 cards there. You can play your Maria here, that'd be fine. We still have our orb here, just 1, 2, 3. Now we're milling, we're drawing. This is going to the grave. That's pretty nice. 3 cards, and then we'll draw. Ooh, and a rolling Hamsphere, and then we're drawing here. Underworld Breach is looking pretty nice as well. It's growing. It's definitely getting stronger, and we have a pretty decent hand to continue. We have basically 5 mana available with the Mesmeric Orb, so you can just go here. You can go Phyrexian Dragon Engine. We can get up to our kind of Breach action, and then we can probably drop our Experimental Frenzy later on. And we can actually, these are going to be all tapped down because we're going to equip this on Emeria with the mana from the Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Or it's the Swift Boots itself, and this is all tapped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that's 6 instances a mill. Ooh, that's really hot. Obviously, we were going to hold the Frenzy, for later, so we can drop our Cavern, and then we can Breach on this turn, and have a pretty decent Breach turn. We have like the Paradise Mantle, which gets pretty mana neutral. Maybe mana positive, actually, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It's mana positive. Can drop a ring. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful stuff. We just leave our nasty ass artifacts in there. Kind of get ahead on that turn. Yeah, you have a lot of selection there. A lot of mana too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 10 cards in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I think you get 2 cards out of this exchange. It's probably going to be like the One Ring and Weatherlight then. Just to be honest. You'd probably run Weatherlight. 3, 4... then have the ring. Yeah, that seems pretty solid. Seems really good. The One Ring kind of actually kind of makes the Frenzy kind of more useless, I'd say. Not as strong. They're kind of redundant, right? The One Ring and Experimental Frenzy. So It could be more like a Paradise Mantle, Weatherlight, and then we can also cast Experimental Frenzy on this same turn. And then we can go Hog Wild. This is what we would draw, but then we can just play all these cards off the top of our deck. Like the Velocipede, the land. We can impulse off these from the top of our deck to get to our juice once more, like our Joyous Familiar. That's the nice thing about Myria, is that she can turn our artifacts into ways to pull off the top of our library as well, so we can get into our cards and we can get through these lands. That's what's nice. We can continue to make these plays with the Frenzy, and overall I kind of just think that play style is pretty strong here. Joyous Familiar is also strong. She basically turns these into 0 mana cards. So that's kind of nice. Kind of hitting a lot of lands here. 1, 2, 3. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Shuffler! Shuffler! It's real! The Shuffler is real! It's stupid Shuffler. In the worst case scenario, you can always bust this out, but this is actually our way of getting into cards. Yeah, really need these Darettis, the Darettis of the world, these ways to sacrifice our artifacts for the sweet, sweet things in our graveyard. Wow, what are the Reaver Titan and Rolling Hamsphere? God, is there any other cards I'm kind of thinking of? What does Audacious Reshapers do? That just card comes to my mind. It came across at one time. I'm just curious, what does it do? Does it do anything with a graveyard? Okay, sacrifice an artifact. Reveal cards from the top of the library until you reveal an artifact card. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Overall, yeah. What'd be really nice, though, is if perhaps another artifact was made that kind of had that function of sacrificing artifacts and bringing back other artifacts to the battlefield. Because then we could utilize a card like Reckless Handling wouldn't be as bad anymore. Yeah, or just another way to find it, right? Just thinking about the Delirium land still, just kind of because the graveyard is getting so juiced up. Turning something into a Reaver Titan or something, for instance, would be really cool. Probably want that land. Let me go find that. I'll put that back in. It's probably too good to pass up. Shifting Woodland. Yeah, that seems a little bit strong to pass up, right? We kind of trimmed out our goods here, haven't we? We have quite a few fetch lands. I'm pretty sure we want all of them. I guess the pathway. I don't want to get rid of the Inventor's Fair. It's kind of fun to fetch up an artifact freely. Okay, I think we're happy. Yeah, I think we're happy, and then this happens. An absolutely busted hand that would be better with some form of colored mana. It's so stupid. This game could troll you even when you're not on Arena. It's so funny. What would I rather have, Inventor's Fair or Mycosynth Gardens? Probably, I mean, this is juice. Mycosynth is good because it actually can fix your mana with like a Soul Ring. You can actually still play colored things. Wow, just crazy. Still an interesting hand. Like, you can go hunting for it with a Mishra's Research Desk. You probably still keep it, right? Still El Busto. Soul Ring, Mishra Desk, pop. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You drop a Mox. You draw Paradise Mantle. God, we have... It's just crazy colorless mana potential here, but just nothing finally at Forest. No, I don't think I could have that happen. I'd hate to mulligan that hand. It'd feel terrible. I'll just put the pathway back in. It'd be an interesting hand to keep, I'll tell you that much. Let's see if we can actually find land here. Oh my goodness. What a cruel game. Ew, gross. That's nasty. Well, that's definitely a tempting keep, but that's why we do this. Probably not wise to keep something like that. This is an interesting one, the Mesmeric Orb Scrap Mastery connection. That's really strong. It's Commercial District, this one. Yeah, that's a fat graveyard, isn't it? We'll keep that. Just probably verge this now. Start orbing. Put these in the graveyard. Ooh, baby. Drop our Cavern down here. Drop our Gruul. Now we're cooking here. And we will have 4 instants of mill now. 1, 2, 3. This is very seamless, right? You just go right into your Reaver Titan here. Drop Daretti here. We can drop the orb. We can get it back later. It's fine. You could even drop in the Lightning Greaves. And then sacrifice. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. But let's see here. Upon entering the battlefield. Yeah, I'm just going to get that Reaver Titan back in now. Yep. Send this to the grave, and now we're swinging here with a fat Reaver Titan. It's nasty. Draw for next turn. Drop the land probably is fine. We can like kind of re-roll here. No, we'll keep this land out. Drop a Tunnel Grinder. Put these 2 away, the Sky Sovereign and the Mountain. Draw 3. Good. Wouldn't be able to have that anymore because we already would cast it from earlier. I'm pretty happy here, right? Scrap Mastery. I don't know if we're ready to kind of rock that. Let's see what we're getting going on here. Oh, there was all the instance of mill too that we missed from untapping on that last turn. Yeah, there would be the graveyard would just be massive, and then probably work up to a Scrap Mastery too. Probably wouldn't be the worst idea. We could like Scrap Mastery prior to the turn starting, right? And this would be sacrificed, and then we return all the things, and then we could repeat and have Reaver Titan come back on. That's very cool stuff. Well, I hope you enjoyed Maria Aetherdrift Artifact Resurrection. This is like my new baby, and I'm so excited. I'm going to do some shopping now on the net to make sure that we have all the cards that we need for this sweet deck tech. I think we have most of the cards available, to be honest. It's just going to be probably some of the newer vehicles, but I have amassed some of the newer ones. So yeah, I think it's like going to be some of these commons that I might not have, like Push the Limit. That might be kind of the cards that I'm missing, but overall, this won't be like a big major investment. I got most of the cards ready. So thanks for joining me today, everybody. This is Blake's Color Magic Video, and I'll see y'all later.